Look, I'll be honest and say I love Rivals, but it never had the presentation and style that Overwatch had, and I don't think we'll ever see another game that captivated us quite like Overwatch did. I would love to go back to the first couple months of Overwatch's release because it was amazing and some of the most fun I ever had in a hero shooter, and for it to kind of go down the course it did really made me feel like we as the player base should make sure that the same thing doesn't happen to Rivals. For new players coming into Rivals, it's expected that they can pick up the game with relative ease and begin working their way up the ranks, finding which heroes they like, which heroes they do well with, and which heroes they feel like they'll never be able to grasp comfortably in an effort to try and counterpick. Something Overwatch I felt did way better, as every hero is easy to pick up, even someone like Genji. The Strategists in particular are some of the hardest heroes to play, not because of their kits, but because of how easy it is to backline. It's no surprise that Rivals includes heroes that are specifically designed to be dive characters or chase characters, or have a little bit of both. But what makes the game different from other hero MOBAs is just how much of the roster can backline. Granted, some aren't as great as other heroes, but they can nevertheless reach for your backline and pick off the healers. I have talked about how Rivals needs more healers who can fend for themselves without having so much heavy reliance on peel or the help of any of your duelists to take out heroes whose sole focus are the healers. Other players might say otherwise, but duelists and tanks don't need the kind of help healers need. Tanks are able to stay on the front line so long as their heals keep coming in. Duelists have options on how they can pick apart the enemy team, and some duelists don't even need to rely on heals when they have the mobility to just go and quickly grab a health pack, something I don't see a lot of Spider-Man and Black Panthers do a whole lot, which they should. Most DPS players don't quite understand that healers have to focus on keeping their tanks alive rather than trying to heal a trivial amount of health from a DPS who feels they need to jump right in front of you, effectively stealing much needed healing that's supposed to go towards the tanks, and then suddenly the tank is dead. Then you have Strategists who not only have to try and keep their whole team alive, but also have to worry about the constant dive and being chased many times out of position. Having to deal with players who always beeline the supports doesn't make for a fun or enjoyable experience. There's that unspoken rule in Rivals that if your supports are close to 6 deaths within the first round or checkpoint, it means your team has failed you. Meanwhile, having 0 to 2 deaths after a game has ended means your team actually did their job in making sure the supports were always around to heal. A DPS that has 10 deaths is a far different story, a much different story than a healer who has 10 deaths. Just look at it that way. There have been a few occasions where I've seen people comparing the deaths of a healer and a DPS in the same vein. Those are completely different stories. One, a support having so many deaths just means no one is there to peel, no one's there to help them out. It's always them fending for themselves. I personally have been asked why I wasn't healing, only to quickly point out that I have close to 20,000 healing. In some cases, on domination games in particular, this kind of proves the point of how how good of a healer I personally am. I have reached 20,000 healing after just the very first round. As a strategist, you definitely need that heightened sense of awareness due to the game's 6v6 format and the use of flying characters. Keeping tabs on Iron Man, Storm, Torch, and especially Spider-Man are different when your ground-based teammates are trying to make a push. Being a strategist just isn't easy, just like I've always said in the past. So reaching 20,000 healing, that is really good for a healer. At the same time, that's quite a lot of healing to have done in the first round, but that also means that your team is constantly, and I mean constantly, pushing the other team. Those type of games where your healing is way up there, that you have a really, really good healing factor, it just means that it's a perfect tug of war, basically. This does bring us to the topic of future healers moving forward. Ultron is slated to not only be a strategist, but he's supposed to be a flyer as well. You have to wonder if he's going to be easy to use in the sense of how quick you are to learn his kit, or how easy it will be to heal his team. I'm all for healing to be just as easy as it is on Cloak and Dagger with the innate homing projectiles. Simply, it just makes it easier to heal, especially on faster moving or flying heroes. And I said it before in the past, playing Cloak and Dagger doesn't really feel like you're taking a break from, no, it does feel like you're taking a break from support, because it does some of the healing for you. You don't have to try and sweat it out on like Luna or Invisible Woman or someone who's projectile based rather than homing based. If we can get more Cloak and Dagger like healers, like I just said, it would be, honestly, that would be amazing. I would love to play more Cloak and Dagger like heroes, because she actually is pretty fun to play. I only just recently started playing her a lot. As you can kind of see in the background footage, she is Lord. I did make her Lord just not too long ago, actually a couple days ago. Same night I also made Lord Emma. So that's kind of a good thing too. Kind of lets me know that I'm able to play a little bit more than just support, by the way. Now, for strategists to stay on top of the game, in my opinion, they should not be as difficult to use as Adam. We definitely don't need more Adam Warlocks. While the recent buff they did give Adam was not too bad, it still doesn't make his defense any better. To add more to this mess, we can't have strategists who are seen as an ancillary or auxiliary healer, which Adam fits that description the best, as he's the only one who has a cooldown for his only means of healing. So here's hoping that Ultron doesn't have a cooldown based healing ability, because if that happens, that's not going to be the greatest, because we don't need more auxiliary healers, we need more primary healers. If their main focus is to heal, then that's what they need to be doing. I don't know why Adam has a cooldown to his healing factor, especially when his quantum healing is his only form of healing, and his only form of healing is being tied to a cooldown. Now, I love playing Adam Warlock. He is one of my favorites. It's just I'm really hoping that Adam was kind of more, he feels more like what not to do for strategists. Do not tie in his cooldown, primary healing to a cooldown, and do not include anything in the kit that has nothing to do with defense. If that happens, it's just not going to be a fun hero to play. Every single support hero needs some form of defense. Like I'm sounding like a broken record at this point. Strategists need that defense in order to fend for themselves, because let's face it, it's not until you get to those upper echelons of play, in ranked in particular, where you're going to be dealing with teammates who will actually help you out if you're support. Right now, we just don't see that. But again, I'm in gold 3. I don't think I'm going to be moving up any further, especially what's going on with these chrono cards, these chrono shield tokens or whatever. That's kind of just, I'm not going to deal with that right now. I'm just going to stay on gold 3. If there's rank decay or something going on, I don't remember if there's rank decay. I'm going to play it every now and then just so I can stay in gold 3, just so I can at least reap the seasonal rewards from it, and that's about it. Now, after Ultron, I don't see future heroes in general coming out and not having strong dive or chase potential. That's always going to be a factor, but I firmly believe strategists are always going to be given the short straw, which means the players who are hell-bent on wanting to continue healing like I do will be some of the more resilient players out there, just dealing with the mass amount of bullshit that comes towards playing the role. And this is something I should have done beforehand. We're actually going to go over to Overwatch, and I'm just going to show you just how much easier it is to play support. You know what? It's going to be the first time I've played Overwatch 2 since whenever. I think once I look at the hero roster, it actually might help me remember when I actually stopped playing Overwatch. So let's just move on over there, and I'll show you just how much easier it is to play support. I did play, I think, like 2 or 3 games before this, so I do have a couple of levels in Kiriko with these new features that they added. I'm also not too familiar with the perk systems that they added.
Over here.
The game also feels different. I don't know how to say it. It doesn't feel like the Overwatch I played back in season 2 or season 3, whenever Malga came out. And the game just feels so much different now. Kind of hard to explain. Even the sound feels a little bit different. You can see I can putting out good damage as Kiriko. For that I actually took half of May's health away just like that. That's what we need in all these support heroes. Keep him healed. I did forget how to mark, or how to mark enemies, so I don't really remember that.
I'm taking the point.
Enemy factor calculated.
The breeze brings relief.
Still trying to shake off the rust. I also feel it's so much easier to land headshots as well. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like the sound quality feels muted. I don't know. It's kind of hard to answer. Let's go ahead and ult.
The battle ignites me. Draw strength from nature.
I don't know, I think it might just be me, but the game just sounds so muted. It doesn't sound as good as it did before when it first came out. Can't save him.
The barrier cannot withstand much more.
Kiriko is still projectile based, so you still kind of have to follow targets.
Appreciate it. I'm on fire.
Unless you're like me.
I am fully focused. Cleanse.
Cleanse myself, just like that. Love seeing a May get destroyed.
Over here.
Left perk.
Protect the payload.
So it's always going to be the same then, okay.
Enemy vector calculated.
Let's do the fortune teller one. I forgot how to mark. I can't tell my teammates like, hey, there's got someone behind us. I can't remember how to mark people.
My barrier is gone. Convene here.
Rise like the sun.
I will say though, even though the game kind of feels a little bit different, and I don't know why, it still is very satisfying though. It's one of the more satisfying gameplay loops out there.
Draw strength from nature.
Claiming the dead.
Light the pyre. The barrier appeared.
Reaper was way too out of position there.
Be healed. I'm on fire.
This guy seems to be focusing me a little bit. I don't know who that. I think that's Venture, one of the newer heroes I'm not familiar with. I just noticed we have 3 supports.
Rise like the sun. Silly human.
They face discord.
Over here. On your horizon.
Yeah, we have 3 supports, but I mean, I don't mind kind of treating Kiriko as kind of like a pseudo DPS. She is really good at both roles.
Like a gentle rain.
Discord plagues this one.
Barrier is splintering.
I mean, it's still fun. It's just, why does everything feel so quiet?
Draw strength from nature.
Even the old shoutouts don't sound as loud as they used to be, and not as echoey. Alright, I'm gonna jump up front.
Restoring your light. Your prayers. Let the kitsune guide you.
If I can help.
Battle ignites me. Soothing your wounds.
My spirit burns.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Yeah, I think there's something up with the sound quality. I can't even... I'm sure that the recording will pick that up too. I mean, Junkrat's tire was completely quiet. I did not hear it. Yeah, if everything sounds so muted, that's kind of a bad thing, because then I won't be able to hear ults. Like Junkrat's tire. I did not hear Junkrat's tire.
Soothing your wounds.
The barrier cannot withstand much.
Be alert.
Barrier unsuccessful.
I've also have not died yet either. And if I did, I would have probably swapped off Kiriko. Probably do more DPS. Although I think we're doing just fine right now.
Enemy vector calculated. An enemy appeared.
I'm on fire. Let the kitsune guide you. Like hunting a shadow.
Oh, I did not save myself. Well, that's too bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
I'm on fire.
Oh, I got another thing.
Locking satellite vector.
Foxtrot.
Under my protection.
What is that melody?
I am fully focused.
Enemy vector calculated.
Well, I mean Overwatch is still Overwatch as far as the gameplay goes. It's still pretty fun. Just I'm not gonna pay $30 for a skin.
Barrier is splintering.
Burn bright for me.
Excavation initiation.
I think we're outnumbered.
Got unintentionally saved by whatever just happened there. Doesn't look like we'll be winning, but either way, I mean, I still did pretty good for not having played for a while, even though this technically my fourth game since yesterday.
Gather here.
Soothing your wounds.
Alright, I gotta drop an ult.
Let my sunlight guide you.
Never die.
Unsuccessful.
Like mending a shadow. Powered up.
Alright.
A threat emerging. Everybody riot.
Managed to push up with Kiriko's ult. That's a good thing. And here I thought we were gonna lose. I deserve MVP.
Play of the game.
I was not MVP. But it's fine. This was just kind of just to kind of showcase how much easier it is to play support in Overwatch than it is in Rivals when they're fundamentally the same game. I don't know, it's just so much easier as a support here. I never have to complain about people not watching my back when I can easily just watch my own back. That's just how easy it is to use Kiriko. Well, not Kiriko, but it's just how it is to play support in Overwatch. They can all easily defend for themselves. Doesn't matter who you're up against. Even tanks can have trouble when up against some of the healers. You know, just kind of depends more on the skill. But either way, that's just, you can easily see just how much better it is. And I'm hoping that more heroes moving forward that come out as strategists, you know, healers and rivals, get a better treatment than the current roster that we have, especially Adam. I really don't want to see another Adam Warlock come out because he's already way too difficult to play. Yeah, granted, that buff he got was pretty good, but it doesn't change the fact that you have to have a good amount of skill involved with projectile-based heroes, and also to land his headshots just to make use of his quantum healing. And on top of that, the quantum healing has a cooldown. He's the only strategist in Rivals that has a cooldown factor for his healing ability, his primary healing ability, and his only form of healing. That's the other thing too. It's like, why is Adam even considered to be a healer if he has cooldowns? Yeah, there are some really good Adam Warlock players out there, don't get me wrong. It's just still, he's just a very difficult hero to use on top of playing strategist, already a difficult role as it is. But okay, let's move on. All right, hopefully that kind of puts things into perspective on just kind of the difficulties between playing support in one game versus another. Even though this is a third person compared to Overwatch's first person, even though Overwatch now added the stadium feature, which you can play in third person, you know, I wonder who they copied that from. I also just noticed too, I was playing 6v6. I don't know how I totally skipped that out. I don't know when they added the 6v6 back into Overwatch 2, but either way, that kind of just shows you just how much easier it is, just how much more laid back it is to play support in Overwatch 2. Granted, you will have some players who are going to be on you for wondering, we know, where their heals at and all that, but from what I've been told, a lot of the toxic Overwatch 2 community moved over to Rivals, so a lot of the Marvel toxicity that we're dealing with actually does come from Overwatch. So maybe it actually might be a good time to go back in Overwatch and deal with the more laid-back community. For now, though, we will have to wait another couple weeks, I believe, for Ultron's release. Hopefully, Ultron will lay the canvas, lay the groundwork for how we should do strategists moving forward. This is just assuming, this is just my guess, that Ultron is going to be a pretty good strategist. He's going to be perfectly balanced. Hopefully, his kit does include some form of defense to deal with, at least for his counters. I know that since he's going to be a flyer, he does have to deal with Spider-Man. He will have to deal with Iron Fist, Hawkeye, Black Widow. You know, he has his flyers have their own counters to deal with, but I don't. Flyers are easier to contend with than it is to be a support, regardless if you're on the opposite end or not. Being a flyer yourself, I mean, if you main someone like Iron Man, I don't think you need to have me explain to you just how much easier it is to play a flying character. Just kind of just depends on the skill of the Widow or the Hawkeye or the Winter Soldier, Black Panther, or not Black Panther, Spider-Man. Just any of those who can counter flyer characters. I mean, I think it's just harder to deal with a flying character than it is to deal with a support. It's so much easier to backline support. With Ultron being a flying backline support character, or not flying backline support character. I don't know why he said it like that, but for him being a support flying character, I'm wondering how that's going to change up counterplay, or maybe just like the overall team compositions moving forward with Ultron. I'm curious to see how Ultron's going to shake things up. So until then, we just got to wait for him to come out. Hopefully he's fun to play as well. Hopefully I get a chance to play him when he comes out. I know that people are going to be insta-locking him the moment he drops. Thanks for watching this video. We'll guys see you on that next one. Hopefully it's not too soon. And have a good one. Till then, bye.